Hi everyone, in this video I'm just going to go through my item build in Season 14, currently Challenger. Going to go through the builds, the items, and just talk a bit about which items I think are not that good, that people kind of overrate. On Zed, of course, this is all about Zed. And which items I think are good, blah blah blah. If I can find there we go. We'll do it through here. So I guess the way I'll start this off is I will just drag on my build, essentially. Let's start off with mid lane. So we first go Eclipse, and then Ionians. Then we go Profane. Edge of Night after that. This is pretty much like almost every single game. There are some rare games where you might need Serpents, and that's when you don't need Serpents, but it might be good to go Serpents, and that's when it's a bit iffy with the with going Grudge or going, because I think these three items are good. And this one's actually very good as well. So these four items here are very good. And then Grudge or Serpents. I don't really like going. Wait, which one is it? I guess it doesn't matter. I don't really like going Serpents in general. But this is the build. What is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is the build I like to go, and I'll sort of talk a bit about other items and why I don't go them and why I think they're not good. Right, so I don't know how to use this item set thing properly, but it's fine. We'll find the items. So I guess we can start off with Voltaic. Why I think it's actually not as good as people think. I think this is definitely one of the better lethality items, or better new bait items, I would say. I mean, I'm quite confident in my own build, and my build has been, like, combined with my runes from the last video that I talked about, my build also has been helping me. I think I'm just stronger with these items. So Voltaic, I think the reason why it's not good is your auto attack is used on minions, and also having an auto attack or an empowered auto attack also makes you more predictable in ways. So it's just a bit weird. Like, for example, if you ult someone, they always know you're going to go for the auto attack, and sometimes you don't want to do that. Sometimes you just want to W ult and then W, and just, or like ult and then flash, or like there's so many more options. And going Voltaic means you need to get the auto attack. You're going to obviously slow them. That's likely, it's going to help you hit your Qs, but that in itself is also a band-aid. So why would you need the slow to hit your Qs? Is the argument that I have. Why would you need the slow? You don't need it. I think it's just a band-aid for like low skill in a way. Of course, you're not going to always hit your Qs, but I don't think Voltaic is like the Voltaic passive of slowing them is like, I mean, it's fine. It's just you're simplifying something that doesn't really need to be simplified. And instead of Voltaic, I basically go Profane, since you get more damage, more AD, and a little more haste, and I think the passive is better, since Profane you have more flexibility, more options. Voltaic, you can't control the passive and the auto attack, using it on minions, then using it on towers, using it on camps, and then like trying to go in and then use it on the enemy as well. You do reset it often, but it's just the passive just makes you too predictable in a meta where we need to be more creative as Assassin Zed, in my opinion. Okay, this video is going very long already, but we'll find the items fast. Okay, let's just search. Hubris. This one's very bad, I think, because you need a lot of AD for AD to actually be relevant with respect to the amount of AD that you would have with a different item, if that makes sense. So a good example is, let's say we go Hubris instead of Edge of Night or something, or Hubris instead of Profane. They give the same AD, but you say you get a kill as Hubris or whatever, you get like 15, I think, or 20 AD or something. I can't even remember. But you need like something like 17-ish KP, which would like push your AD to like 40, like above 40, 45. Once you get 45 to 50 AD from the Hubris passive, that's when you actually start dealing enough damage for it to be worth it in terms of like taking less spells to kill people. And I don't think it's consistent. I don't think it's something that's, it's not going to be a situation in the majority of your games if you're playing in an elo that, you kind of are trying to climb out of, you're not smurfing. It's a bit, I think it's a bit silly. Playing for kills, it's less consistent. There's less games. So if you play 100 games, there's probably less games that you're going to get 17 KP in than you do. I mean, it would be for me. So, like if I'm playing in my elo, I think, and by the time you get 17 KP, you would get so much more value over like Profane Hydra. But I mean, I'm saying 17 just as a wild number, but it's around there where you get enough AD actually. And then also when you die, you lose the AD anyways. So it's just, Hubris is nonsensely bad. It's like really bad. Okay, another one is Ghostblade. This one doesn't give haste, so I don't really like it because of that. But this one, as mid lane, I think, you could replace Eclipse with it, but I don't think it's worth it. Eclipse is very necessary as mid lane Zed, because you need to duel your opponent, and before you build Eclipse, you're actually losing a lot of the trades, you're losing the laning phase, you're just losing a lot. So once you get Eclipse, you can actually fight back. But so if you go Ghostblade, you won't be able to actually properly or consistently fight back against, some of these champions that will CC you, whether it's mages or like, just the trading patterns. They are not favorable when you don't have the Eclipse little shield thing. And Eclipse also works well with First Strike as well, just giving you a bit more damage, get some gold. So I mean, Ghostblade isn't the worst one, but it doesn't have haste, so I don't like it because of that as well. That's the main reason. And this just doesn't fit in because all of these items here give stats and utility that you kind of need. Cleaver, I think, is bad because we're playing Assassin Zed. It just gives you too much health, doesn't give you enough damage to squishies, because that's who you're going to be focusing throughout the game. Opportunity, also no haste. It's kind of just a rubbishy item, I think, because it's greedy, relies on kills, getting takedowns. Something like that is a bit too greedy, considering that, if you're playing in an elo that you, I guess, deserve to be in, or you're playing in an elo you're trying to climb out of, and you're kind of stuck or something, then this isn't really going to help you, right? Because getting takedowns, it's less consistent than just having things that actually help you get takedowns. I don't know, it's a bit weird. I don't think it's good. Collector, I don't even think I built this item a single time this season. Gives 20 crit chance. It's 3,100 gold, extremely expensive, so it's not worth it. The execution seems rubbish, below 5%. If someone's below 5%, you're probably just going to kill them anyways. So if you execute someone with that, it's very likely whatever fight and skirmish you're in, where you do that is, it's not a skirmish you should be in. So yeah, Collector kind of sucks as well. And Axiomark, this one is not as bad, but again, it relies on takedowns, and I think, things that rely on takedowns are not as good as things that help you get takedowns, basically, as Assassin Zed, where you need to kind of just, sort of kill a squishy, and then, after that, it's kind of good, because you've done your job a bit. Kill a squishy without using your ult. Usually, I like to flank and then WEQ, or just flank and WW, WQW, auto EQ, you profane, try kill someone, and then ult. Usually works better on this season, I think. Serpent's Fang, pretty bad. If doesn't give haste. It's not the worst one, but I mean, it's definitely not the worst one because it's very cheap. But I don't particularly like it. I mean, I can fit it into here sometimes if I need a Serpent, maybe instead of Edge, although I very much like Edge of Night. Maybe instead of Edge. if they have too much shielding. But yeah, I mean, out of all of these items, I think Serpents is one of the good ones, because, you know, as I said, it's an item that helps you get takedowns. It's not an item that, you know, relies on takedowns. So it's a good one, I think. Just it's lacking haste, but it's very cheap, so it can be a good item if they have too much shields. So maybe I should just put it here, actually. Okay, whatever. Let's just put it there. Instead of Edge of Night, or instead of Shojin, I suppose. Yeah, instead of Shojin. And if you're really snowballing, you could do this and then do that. But I do like Shojin as well. Yeah, I mean, you can sort of play around. I guess these are the items. There you go. I changed my mind. Serpent seems good. Just looking at it in the thingy. Okay, whatever. I'm sure you guys will forgive me. But yeah, and then now I'll just explain a bit about why these items are good as well. Okay, so I'm going to talk about what I think about a build and what makes a build good a bit more in a bit more detail. So I touched on it a bit about, you know, items which rely on takedowns, so like opportunities, axiom, hubris, you know, these items not being too good. But let's just talk about these items. So a good build basically gives you something you need on each item spike, but also at a relatively good time period where you'd kind of need it. So for example, you want to go Eclipse first, because Eclipse is great in laning phase, and it's great for dueling 1v1 and trading. So once you rush Eclipse, it's only 2800 gold. It's relatively cheap, not too cheap obviously, but it's good for a first item. You can actually start trading back and, you know, fighting people 1v1, and before you finish it, it's actually really scuffed. So as soon as you get it, it's like really nice. So that's a good timing. You get it about 8 minutes in. Very nice. You want to go Ionian Boots, because your teleport is going to be on a it's going to go Unleash Teleport by the time you get Ionian Boots, if you go Ionian Boots next. And then, you know, so you get Unleash Teleport at minute 10, you get Ionian Boots, you have Cosmic Insight, so that's going to get your TP really low cooldown. That's going to help you a lot, because then you can, you know, you can play lane, you can kind of poke them out with Eclipse, push as well, get push, and you can hold teleport, and then teleport like bot lane, behind the enemy bot lane through a ward, or, you know, just hold teleport and help your team like that. It's very effective. You go Profane to clear the waves, and just gives you more damage. This cleave is much better when you already have an item first, like Eclipse. Your cleave when you're passive and you're active is much better. So it fits in well second. It also gives you a lot of damage. And furthermore, you know, Eclipse is quite good by itself. So this being 3300 is not too big of a deal, because even though it takes a little bit of time to you know, build up the gold to get this item, Eclipse Ionians is, you're chilling a bit for a little bit longer than if you had like a Ghost Blade Ionians, you know. There's not as much rush to get your next item, so yeah, like it's going to help you as well. And then once you get these two items, you start really ramping up with your first strike. If you went first strike, you should be going first strike in most games, if you watched my last video. So Edge of Night. After that, Edge of Night is a very good item. Usually I actually struggle, because I feel like I need Edge of Night earlier, but this is the only sort of spot I could find for it. So Edge of Night is very good in a lot of these games, especially as I realized this season as Assassin's Ed. It's much easier to get caught, and then if you get caught, like your W is like even just caught by like a small CC, you know, your W cooldown is too high to get away, for me when I play in high elo. So Edge of Night helps very much, especially because I like to flank and engage with my W without using ult straight away, or I do like W ult W, and you know, I can still get caught, right? So it helps a lot, and that's why I go it here. And also, because I'm focusing squishies, or focusing squishies, you know, trying to focus squishies, it works pretty well. You know, I don't really need the arm pen too much just yet, but then obviously after I finish it, I want to get the arm pen, I want to get, you know, Grudge, because it's about, I mean, after you finish these three items, you're probably about 20, you know, over 20 minutes in, definitely, you know, 21, 22 minutes, probably finish Grudge if you're like snowballing, doing well, otherwise a bit later. But you're going to want Grudge around that time because people are getting levels, right? People getting levels, people getting like armor and everything like that. So that helps with that. You know, the base armor of AD carries or mages or whoever you're focusing, even though they're quote unquote squishy, they'll have armor, so you'll need that Grudge to kill them. And then here, I guess you can go Serpents or Shojin. I mean, I usually just go Shojin because I'm greedy. I don't like going Serpents, but you can go Serpents. Shojin helps you a lot with your W cooldown, so you actually become much more flexible once you finish Shojin. Like in the late game, your W goes down to like 7-second cooldown, and that feels really good. Compared to like before that, so it's like, I think it's like 9 or 8. I don't know. Serpents versus shields if you need, because it's going to help you kill people. So yeah, I mean, each of these items actually also helps you kill people, right? They don't rely on takedowns. You know, spell shield to make sure you don't get CC'd as you go in, so you can get your damage out, get your auto E, profane, you know, the combos out. Grudge for the arm pen, you know, profane for the passive and all the damage there. Eclipse, you know, Shojin, giving you that flexibility late game. Basically, and also each of these items, when you buy them in this order, you do get them like in a very streamlined approach in the game. Like it feels very nice to finish these items at these timings if you buy them like in this order, and you're like, you know, you're decently farming up, you're getting some first strike gold. You don't have to get too many kills, just 2-3 kills is probably enough. You get the first strike going, and once you have these 2-3 items first, right, you just proc first strike on a flank a couple times. You're gonna ramp up these last few items really fast with first strike. So yeah, each of these items are really nice, and just the way they spike with the timings and everything makes me believe it's the best build, basically. And it was for me, I think, and it still is. And it's the build that I go every game on mid lane. And I guess for jungle, I'll keep it a bit more simple before I check my match history and show you. Basically for jungle, you don't need to duel your laner because you're just, you know, you're jungling. And it's best to go Ghostblade instead of Eclipse because you get movement speed, which is more important in jungle. You're not trying to duel anyone or trying to fight for your life in lane. You know, you're just getting the Ghostblade to run around. So you go Ghostblade, Ionian Boots, and yeah, basically the same build after that. I don't know, I don't think I'll go Shojin if I was jungle. So if I was jungle, maybe something like this makes more sense. Definitely makes more sense because Shojin is as a jungler, your role is a bit different. So you can play a bit more assassin-y as jungle. Because you have a mid laner who's going to be laning against someone, you know, who's going to be side laning. And as jungle, usually you're just going to be flanking in the late game. As in, like, so for example, if the enemy is pushing top or bot, you wouldn't be the mid laner who is farming that wave, trying to defend it. You would be the jungler, and you'll be fighting with your team, going for more fights and like more skirmishes. So going this assassin-y thing is better since, you know, you don't need to fight anyone in terms of laning 1v1. So usually that's better, and that's basically the jungle build. I mean, if you don't need serpents, obviously, though, you could go this one, or you could also go Axiom Arc, because in jungle Axiom Arc is a bit better because the takedowns are more accessible. And Axiom, yeah, the takedowns are more accessible, and I can't even speak. And Axiom is better than like Hubris or anything else, because still Hubris I think is a bit much, trying to get all of that KP for the item to actually have relevance. You know, having extra AD is kind of useless until it's like 40-50 extra AD. You know, that's when you're actually going to deal enough damage to be, you know, less to kill people with less spells. So not going to save changes. That's it. That's the build for mid lane and jungle that I go pretty much every single game. Don't look at this. Why did I go this? Wait a second. I mean, yeah, this game I went this build, but as you can see, I did no damage. So this was a mistake, guys. This one, when the Bruiser build with Conqueror, that was silly. Although it's because I felt like you know, I mean, in this game maybe it's not so silly because have like these champs like Gragas, Volibear, Rise, and Camille, but there's a very rare game where, you know, they have all these tanky champs, like the Camille support even is tanky and just annoying as shit. But usually, you know, you look, it's this build, this build, this build, you know, same build. And then jungle, I go Ghostblade instead of Eclipse, basically the same build. We lose because we suck, or is it because my team sucks? Always because my team sucks, 1 and 13, you know what I mean? Okay, and yeah, I mean, yeah, that's basically the build, you know, and we go teleport flash every time, first strikes in the runes in the last video. And yeah, I mean, that's what I've been doing. I'm currently challenger, 858 LP. I decay in 12 days, so don't worry guys, I'm going to drop from challenger because I suck, and because I guess Zed sucks. I hope you guys like it when I say Zed sucks or something. But yeah, that's basically it for this video. I think it's a long one, but yeah, I hope you learned something. I hope it's enjoyable. I hope my way of thinking about builds is helpful for you, and the way you could think about builds too. Yeah, I just hope everything was useful in this video, or at least something was useful to someone. And yeah, good morning, evening, night, or good day, good afternoon. I think I forgot that one. To everyone, whoever's watching this at whatever time. And yeah, bye bye. I'll see you guys in the next one.